Audio Jungle.
6 boys implicated in sexual assault of 13-year-old girl offered bail. The 6 boys implicated in the sexual assault of a 13-year-old girl in Portmore, St. Catherine, were offered bail when they appeared in the Children's Court on Monday. They are to return on February 25th next year. The teens were charged last Wednesday after they were pointed out during an identification parade. They have been charged with rape, conspiracy to rape, abduction, unlawful detention to commit sexual intercourse, knowingly producing child pornography, distribution of child pornography, and assault occasioning bodily harm. Investigators reported that sometime in October, the 13-year-old was lured to the house of Portmore, where she was assaulted by the group of boys. The issue came to public knowledge recently when a video of the incident went viral. Cold killer. The woman convicted of abducting and killing 8-year-old Danielle Rowe in 2023 shared a meal with the child before cutting her throat and leaving her on the side to die. The gruesome detail was shared in court on Monday by Attorney Rogers, who, in making a plea for leniency for the confessed killer, dental assistant Kelly Shattet, argued that his client's action shows that she did not steal the child away with the premeditation intended of doing the child harm, but was in fact making a desperate cry for help. Rogers made the agreement in his plea and mitigation address before Supreme Court Justice Carol Ty Powell in the Home Circuit Court in the Supreme Court in downtown Kingston. The attorney, while emphasizing that there was no justifiable reason for the murder of anyone, especially a child, said the act was triggered when Coyote, who was of a storm and unfortunate relationship with Daniel's father, was informed by him via a social media message which simply said, "If you know what's good for you, you go test yourself for HIV." In arguing that his client had taken the child as a desperate cry for help, Rogers said Coyote was disturbed by the calculous way in which the disclosure was made, amplified by the fact that she was pregnant. He said his client, because of the situation, had to contend with an aborted second semester pregnancy. Rogers said his client, having undergone all that she had, was of the view that it was a child for a child. Coyote, by her own admission, snatched Rowe from Brayton Primary and Infant School in Portmore, St. Catherine on June 8, 2023, and took her to a location in St. Angel where she fed her a meal before slashing her throat. The mortally wounded child was found by a member of the Jamaica Defense Force on Roosevelt Avenue in St. Andrew. She succumbed to her injuries in hospital 2 days later on June 10. In September this year, Coyote pleaded guilty to the acts which caused widespread humor and outrage. That's what it came down to, his child versus the loss of their child. She now knows that it was wrong. It did not start out as a premeditation, but towards the end, after several telephone calls to get attention from the persons who thought they were in position to give her assistance. When that failed, she descended into a state of frustration and bitterness, Rogers declared. The attorney told the court that efforts by his client, who repeatedly contacted the authorities to have her partner prosecuted for what she thought was a conscious decision on his part to move the virus around, were rebuffed. He said her state of mind was made worse by the fact that on the day Daniel was taken from school, she had made numerous calls to the father, his parents, and even an official at his workplace to get their attention about her state, but was ignored. She did not steal the child away with the premeditated intention of doing the child harm. Rather, it was a desperate cry for help for her to the father, Rogers insisted. She said she was tired, frustrated, the attorney said, insisting that Coyote intended no harm to the 8-year-old as she actually shared a meal with the child before. He noted that, while this could not account for the taking of Daniel's life, the situation was made even sadder by the loss of her own child's life. In addition to that, Madam, HIV, loss of child, loss of job, place of residence, in one full loop, Millard, the heavens crash. It is perhaps for the reason the doctors and psychiatrists were able to confirm that she suffered what is called an adjustment disorder, Rogers stated. We're not hiding behind this. It is clear in my mind that it did not affect her ability to tell right from wrong. What it does, is set up the context within which she was operating. What it does show is that she acted in a manner that was wrong and caused hurt, the attorney told the court, adding that other individuals who were close to Coyote since then turned their backs on her. The attorney, in noting that the judge would be hard-pressed in contemplate any sentence less than life, suggested a starting point somewhere between 30 to 35 years, with discounts for her guilty plea and remorse and time spent in custody, making it so that she would spend between 27 and 28 years behind bars before being eligible for parole. On Monday, Coyote, clad in a black top and plaid tight skirt and slippers, her unprocessed hair neatly braided, was seen dabbling at her eyes and blowing her nose several times during the sentencing exercise. Supreme Court Judge Justice Caroline Tide Powell said she will hand down her decision on December 20. Transport Authority probing fatal Clarendon crash, Voz 1 report. The Transport Authority is investigating a report that one of its teams was chasing one of the vehicles involved in Monday's fatal crash along the Bustamante Highway in Clarendon. The authority is the agency that regulates the public transportation sector in Jamaica. Since the early morning crash which resulted in the deaths of two Lennon High School students and the injury of three others, there have been widespread claims that one of the vehicles involved, a Subaru motor vehicle, was operating as an illegal taxi and was being chased by a team from the authority. The students who died were traveling in the Subaru. Medina Colum, corporate communications manager at the authority, acknowledged that the agency was aware of the claims and that a robot taxi was involved in the crash. So we have to investigate and determine whether the allegations are correct. So that part is under investigation, she told reporters on Monday. In public statement earlier, the transport regulator expressed deep sadness and regret for the deaths of the two students and the injuries sustained by other victims. A team from the agency investigative unit has been dispatched to the site of the crash, the statement read. As more information becomes available, updates will be provided by way of media release, it stated, while urging commuters to only use legal public transportation. Meanwhile, Transport Minister Darrell Voss has expressed sadness at the tragic accident and indicated that the authorities are working diligently to investigate the cause of the crash and ensure that those responsible are held accountable. Voss said he has asked the Transport Authority to provide a report. The Transport Authority has no chasing and no blocking policy. This means that teams from the Transport Authority are not allowed to chase neither red nor white plate, he stated. It was noted that the Transport Authority upgraded the level for seizure authorization to the ranks of area supervisor, which means the road inspector and senior inspectors cannot by themselves carry out a seizure of a vehicle. The Transport Minister says it's committed to continuing its work with the Jamaica Constabulary Force, the Island Traffic Authority, and the Transport Authority to ensure safe road conditions and stiffer enforcement of traffic laws. I urge all Jamaicans to take personal responsibility for their safety and the safety of others on the road. Now more than ever, we must all commit to driving and walking responsibly, avoiding distraction, and respecting speed limit, Vols noted. I urge all drivers, passengers, and road users to exercise extra caution and adhere strictly to road traffic laws to prevent collisions. Reckless driving, speeding, and non-compliance with road safety regulations put lives at risk, and it is critical that we all play our part in preventing further tragedies. Passengers, please speak out to the reckless driving and do not condone their behavior, he underscored. Meanwhile, was indicated that a proposal for the operators of the road transport for schools has been completed by the Transport Ministry and will be presented to Cabinet on Monday next week. Following the expansion of the Montego Bay Metrobus service, the Jamaica Urban Transit Company also commenced operations in St. Thomas last week.
I'm truly devastated at the news of the loss of two students' lives this morning in Maypen, along with several others being injured. This is happening too frequently, and it is definitely a major issue for me. I will be bringing to Cabinet on Monday a presentation for the proposed school bus transport system for students on Monday and get further directives from Cabinet, at which point I will make public what the next steps are. But it remains a very serious priority for me, as every day that is not implemented the lives are at risk based on the transport methods.
Subsequent to the crash in Clarendon today, the driver of the Subaru motor car had fled the scene. The police began their investigation, and about 2 hours after intelligence and the establishment of some systematic work, we were able to apprehend him at the Norman Man International Airport, and he's now in our custody.
Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.